Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy Lucidius back in the studio cooking you guys up another video. I'm really enjoying making these, so I hope you guys are enjoying them too. If you are, leave a like and subscribe because it helps me out. But without further ado, let's just jump right into this video. So if you've read the title of the video, this was about the time that I nearly died. It was a horrible experience at a very dark time in my life. And I wouldn't recommend this upon my worst nightmare. So let's jump right into this. So on a normal day, I would say, I think it was around, I want to say May in the year. I was in a very dark place, very, very dark place. I was basically failing high school. My parents were not happy with me at all. My girlfriend at the time fucking was not happy with me either. She never really was, and that's another story at the end of the day. But I wasn't happy. That's kind of the point of all this. So I decided that I was going to do some crazy shit, as I normally did. When the pressure of life hit me, I just got fucked up. That was my go-to. Let's just see what I can put my fucking brain through, to make me forget this shit. And so that's what I did. I headed over to my local grocery store. This was a habit of mine at the time. I'd pull a little GTA heist. I'd walk in there and I'd take a couple bottles of wine, because they have more alcohol content than beer, and you can kind of fit volumetrically, you can fit more. I don't know if that makes sense, but you can get like 2 bottles of wine, which will fuck you up, or you could get like a case or 2 of beer at the most if you're lucky, and it's way harder to fit that in your bag and zip it all up and get out of there than it is with the wine. So I stole a couple shit ass bottles of wine, and then I headed over to the pharmacy department, my favorite section in the grocery store, and I stole just a bunch of random shit because it wasn't really like I was gonna do some of the stuff I stole. I just ultimately wanted to steal. But I stole some Dayquil pills, which I did not do. I just threw them away. I stole some Mucinex, stole a bunch of stupid shit. But the one thing that I did end up doing and I stole was a pack of extra strength Benadryl. Very retarded, very retarded. Please don't do this. Listen to me. Like, I don't recommend you do any drugs, but this, go do cocaine before you do this shit. Holy crap, That's how bad this stuff is. So once I had got myself my little fucked up kit and I got it together, I walked out of this local grocery store and I headed over to a local land development where houses were being put up and made. And I found a house that just wasn't finished yet. There was still scaffolding on the side and stuff. They hadn't put up the siding, but the house was an enclosed space. The windows were up, the frame work was done, the roof was up. So it was like the perfect little spot for me to just kind of sit in my own fucking pit of shit and sorrow and get fucked up. And that's exactly what I did. So I fucking guzzled down these bottles of wine, and after a while, of course, I got really fucked up, and I just decided I was going to go on a rampage. And to start off this rampage, I popped 1,000 milligrams of Benadryl. Now, if I'm going to be honest, little disclaimer for those of you who are sensitive to this stuff. Holy moly, little stutter here. This is also take 4, by the way, because I've been fucking shit up so much. But yeah, little disclaimer, this was kind of a suicide attempt. It wasn't really directly, but I knew what dose would kill me mixed with this alcohol, and I was for sure, I just thought I was going to die if I did this, for sure, right? And so after taking that 1,000 milligrams, I just started kicking the frame of this fucking house down, dude. Just going crazy on it. I destroyed this house. I feel so bad for the construction workers that came there the next day and found a house that was just in shambles. By the time I was done with this crib, it was creaking and swaying with the wind. I had kicked down all the supports and shit. I'm lucky the house didn't fucking collapse on me, because honestly it should have, and it probably would have been better than what happened after this. But yeah, after a while, the Benadryl starts to kick in, and I hope none of you know what this shit's like, but if you do know what it's like, you know how it can kind of fuck your brain up. You just go schizophrenic, completely delirious. I completely had forgotten that I had basically taken anything or was doing anything, and for some reason, I decided to take a shit in this place. This is disgusting, but I took a shit in this place in the bathtub and wiped my ass with my fucking underwear and threw the underwear away. It was It was the most disgusting thing ever. I'm so sorry if you guys have to hear this. It's probably the nastiest thing I've ever done in my entire fucking life. It makes me seem like a bum. I promise you guys I'm not. But holy fuck, man. I'm sorry. I didn't even want to say that. I just had to get it out. But yeah, after doing that and breaking a window, I decided to get the fuck out of there because I didn't want anyone to hear what I was doing. Like, the window shattering was kind of my cue. I was like, all right, time to get out of here. So upon exiting the place, I had encountered a very massive problem. I could not fucking stand up straight, like, at all. Like, literally at all. I couldn't walk more than like 2 or 3 meters without falling over. It was the weirdest effect. Like, this shit was really starting to slam me, you know? Really starting to slam me. And of course I fell in a fat fucking muddy construction puddle, like right into it. And I was just like soaking wet, completely fucked up, starting to hear whispers. And my friend called me, and I confirmed that this was a real call later on. But one of my good friends, Johnny, actually, as you guys know him from other stories, hit me up about going to a party. And at this point, I was still coherent, but clearly fucked up. And that's all he really thought, was that I was fucked up on alcohol and stuff. And he's like, yo, do you want to come to this party? Blah, blah, blah. And once again, I had completely forgotten that I was basically trying to end my existence on this planet. So I was like, yeah, let's go, dude. I'll be at my house in 30 minutes. That's what I told him. So I start walking home, stumbling, and I don't even get 10 minutes into the walk and I completely black out, like completely black out. And at some point during this walk, I wouldn't even call it a shortcut. I just decided to go into the fucking forest. Started to walk into the forest, and keep in mind, it was probably like 8 o'clock at the time. So yeah, I hit up this forest to talk to shadow people or some shit. I don't know, fucking jerk my ween. And once I get in there, I had this brief moment of soberness and clarity because I was completely lost. I had completely got myself fucked. I had no idea where I was. And I still remember it like it was an image burned in my head. I was just looking around. It was pure darkness. There was just things moving everywhere, like spiders crawling, whispers everywhere. And there was the most horrible sense of doom within me. Like, I can't even really describe it. Like, I just knew I was cooked. Like, at the most core soul level, I was cooked, and I knew it. It was the worst feeling of doom and death ever. And I blacked out again. And at some point while I was in this place, I had a fucking seizure, like a really bad seizure, obviously. Well, not obviously, but when you're mixing these substances, it can be pretty common. And my next memory is I'm walking with my brother and my younger brother through this forest, and my uncle walks past me. And I'm like, oh, hey, uncle. And he just kind of looks at me weirdly and then fucking walks off into the darkness and disappears. And you know, I'm actually not too sure if this was a real person or not. I don't really think it was, but the way they were looking at me was kind of like how someone would look at someone when they're fucked up. You're just like, who the fuck is this guy? And it was dark in this forest and getting late. And I wandered around this forest in like a delirious haze for fucking 5 hours. I didn't get home until not 5 a.m. I didn't get home until 3 a.m. in the morning. And I remember finding the exit to this place, and just, this is another image that's like burned into my mind, is just finding the exit to this forest of the pathway. And just like the only thought in my mind was, thank God. You know, not your regular like, oh, thank God I found my car keys. Like, no, like literally thank God that I fucking made it out of here. It was truly up to him. And I wander out of there, and then I black out again, and then I come to again walking into my house, and my mom is screaming at me. And it was a mixture of anger, like her being super fucking scared and everything. And I found out later on that like everyone was looking for me. My boy Johnny, who originally invited me to this party, pulled up to my house, and my mom was like, well, what are you here for? And he was like, you know, me and Lucidius are supposed to be going to a party. And she's like, well, he's not here. And I wasn't answering my phone. And this is when they started to fucking tweak. I did actually tell my boy Johnny that I ended up doing Benadryl. So he relayed this information, you know. And I actually remember a phone call. Like, as I'm walking, I get a phone call. and it's my boy Johnny with some random other dude who had done Benadryl before, and they were like, he was freaking out. He's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, stay where you are, like, blah blah blah, all this and that, right? And I just wasn't really comprehending it. But yeah, everyone was looking for me. My mom, my boy Johnny, and my girlfriend at the time, we'll call her Ashley because that's just the classic name, if y'all know, you know. But yeah, they all looked for me in that same forest for a couple hours and couldn't find me. So it's like, where was I, you know? Where the fuck was I in this forest? I lost my shoe, I lost my backpack, I lost quite a few things. I don't know how I lost my shoe, I really don't. But I had lost a decent amount of stuff. Somehow, I held onto my phone the entire time. Good thing you had your priorities straight, bro. Made sure to keep your phone. Good shit, bro. But yeah, that's kind of that story, you know? And that had a really bad lasting impact on me. Like, for months after that, I had a really bad ringing in my ears. I should have went to a doctor or something, and that was kind of my clue that I had a seizure. But I had this horrible ringing, like, in my mind and everything, and I would zone off all the time, and I just felt like garbage. And I would look at the forest sometimes because it's not too far from my house, and it's like I would be in the same place again. Like, my mind would just get brought to this dark void that's unexplainable, really, just completely unexplainable. And that was, yeah, it was fucking horrible, and I wouldn't wish that upon my worst nightmare. Benadryl is a horrible substance. To consider it a substance is honestly, you know, you're pulling at strings here. It is not recreational at all. It is, I wouldn't even use it as a sleeping medication, you know, just take some melatonin. Horrible shit. Very, very horrible shit. And unfortunately, that wasn't the last time I ever tampered with it, but that was the only time that I went up to dosages that high and almost died, you know. And so, yeah, guys, if you're going to take anything away from this story, I would say, you know, if you are in a dark place, if you're watching this and you're in a dark place, just know, you know, not to sound cliche, but it does get better. You cannot have joy without pain, and you cannot have sunshine without rain. It is just unfortunately how life is. And once you learn how to ride these waves, life gets a lot better. You know, it becomes a lot less black and white, to say the least. So please, guys, look after yourselves, get your priorities straight, don't do drugs, and I will catch you guys in the next video.